Dan and Jane were married for 23 years. They had 3 children together, and they were fully devoted to each other. Dan ended up building a company over time, which he eventually sold for an 8-figure net payday. Within 18 months, Dan and Jane found each other sleeping in separate wings of the house. What happened here, you might ask? Nothing. And that's the problem. Nothing dramatic. And that is what makes this situation so potentially dangerous. Jane used to handle the finances for the family when they had less, and she was very good at it. Over time, they would meet together at the kitchen table, and they would talk about finances, family, and life overall. But after the sale of the business, suddenly there were advisors involved. A family office, estate attorneys, tax specialists, and planning far beyond what they were used to prior. And somehow, over time, slowly but surely, although Jane was in the room, she was not in the decisions. Now, to be fair, Dan was not trying to exclude her, but he was trying to protect her from the complexity, the stress, the weight of the whole situation. And Jane, on the other hand, didn't say anything. She sat there quietly, because in the back of her mind, she didn't want to rock the boat or cause turbulence during a time which theoretically should be the happiest of their lives. But the problem here is that they were both trying to protect each other. And unfortunately, due to this, they caused a chasm which neither of them knew how to cross. Because, truth be told, at this level of wealth, financial asymmetry can become emotional asymmetry as well. While one person might quietly start to feel like the owner, the other person in the relationship might feel like a beneficiary or need permission to make decisions. And far too often, you see that neither party in the situation knows how to talk about it. Marriage is supposed to be the one place where you're equals, where you're both acting as partners in a partnership, not where one partner forms a hierarchy. So here's what families that I've seen do so differently in trying to avoid having conflict created is that they schedule regular meetings together. These meetings are not wealth reviews, they're not portfolio updates or estate planning reviews. In fact, the meeting could be as simple as 3 questions. What feels heavy right now? What feels unfair? And what feels unsaid? And that in itself could potentially keep that fracture from spreading deeper. And although I'm not a psychological or relationship expert in any way, this next situation is where I've seen things get real sticky time and time again.